Hi, so today I will be talking about is social media hurting our kids? So there are obviously pros and cons to both. Did some researching and read a lot of articles, found it really interesting, so this is why I chose this topic. Um, I do have 4 kids, and um, my youngest two are 11 and 12 years old, and they have social media accounts. Um, they have Instagram accounts. My older two have Instagram and Facebook, and they use Snapchat and Twitter and all those other apps out there for social media. So I'm going to talk about the pros first, because there are pros and cons to both. And I do think that there can be a happy medium in using social media, teaching our kids. Social media is in our lives today and is here to stay. So I feel as though that teaching our kids the proper use and helping them learn will guide them. So some research that has been done, children start exploring between the ages of 10 and 12. I find that to be very true. I can see even little kids, kindergarten, first grade, that, use iPads and computers and cell phones and things of that nature. So, yeah, I'm sure my kids were about that age, starting social media accounts. Studies show that 90% of teens use some sort of social media, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all those other, there's obviously more, but those are the most popular. So some other pros are making new friends online. You may meet new friends that you've never been friends with before, that don't live in your area or don't live in your neighborhood, from around the world even, which I think is fantastic. But you might have friends that used to live next door to you or go to your school and they have moved away. So it's a great way to stay in touch. You can share videos, share music, share photos, stay in touch. I think is wonderful, especially with long distance relatives. That's a great way to stay in touch as well. You can learn new information about the world. Obviously, there are so many advertisements and so many articles and so many different aspects of the world that are posted on social media accounts. So I definitely, when I scroll through Facebook, I'm always looking for new cooking recipes or health articles, always interested in learning more about lots of different things. There's a lot of ads, there's shopping, there's all sorts of things. So even how-to videos. So those are some pros too. I really enjoy reading articles, especially about education. I am connected through social media on lots of different education sites and really enjoy reading them. Our children are our future. Our kids really don't know a life without social media and the internet. So, they are the ones that are going to, change the ways of social media, or change the ways of internet altogether. Some other things too, when kids are using social media at a younger age, they tend to learn more responsibility and self-educate. They know what to look for, fake news, things that are true friends, things of that nature. Also, studies show that teens or kids have more passion for social issues and are more likely to engage in politics, which we all know that there's a lot of politics on the internet. So some of the cons. Teens use social media on average about 3 hours a day, which I actually thought that was a little bit on the low side. I thought it would have been more, but obviously that's an average number. So UCLA Brain Mapping Center did some studies and did some brain studies, and it showed that receiving likes or comments or any kind of positive reflection on any kind of post that you've made, that your reward center of your brain reacted, which isn't surprising. It's more of a flattering type of thing. However, it makes teens tend to focus on, how many likes did I get and who's making comments and what are people saying. They tend to compare, you might compare each other, especially girls tend to compare about, what girl looks like a specific type, or if you want to be like a specific person, that can have a real negative effect on you. Finding out who your true friends are and your real friends, making sure that, you'll tend to see, your friends hanging out without you, and you can be feeling left out or isolated. Kids are bullying. There's a lot of bullying that goes on social media. I make sure that I check my kids' accounts, and I know that I've run into some issues of, girls not being very nice, and even boys not being very nice. And so, with parental monitoring, that can be very helpful, but that's definitely a negative about social media. Another thing that is a con would be less FaceTime, less real conversations. A lot of people hide behind texting and social media, and there's not that person-to-person contact. And that can really lead into some social issues or social awkwardness, that people can tend to, when I was a teenager, we didn't have social media. And so it was, face-to-face conversations. The studies are definitely showing a rise in anxiety, depression, and eating disorders. Teens showed that they showed anxiety when they have no access to their social media accounts or internet. I can see that with my children. If we go somewhere and they're like, oh my gosh, we don't have any Wi-Fi, they act like their life is going to end there. So it also shows an overuse of using social media mirrors addiction. And I can see that, it really can be addictive. I know that when I come home from work, I sit on the couch, and that's the first thing I do is go through my social media account. And, 3 hours a day is a long time to spend on social media. So I can see how teens would become addicted to it. Also, some negative things are being exposed to things such as challenges. The bullying has led to teen suicides, sexual behaviors, predators. There are adults that, are pretending to be children and lure children into meeting, and really can lead into scary situations. Another thing is sleep patterns, late night use of social media, and taking their cell phones to bed. I can see my kids tend to, I will go in and check on them, and it can be 11 o'clock at night and they have it hidden under their covers. Sometimes I have to take it away, actually. So their sleep patterns are being disrupted because of, you know, using it too late and not getting enough rest. So, so my conclusion is, you know, I do think that there can be a happy medium. I think that definitely there are pros and cons, and you're going to have, you know, some parents are a specific way than other parents. I tend to believe that there is a happy medium. I think that we have to, you know, educate our kids and talk to our children and, you know, look for signs, check their accounts, make sure that there's, you know, nothing too serious going on. But I think that if you limit use and set boundaries and, you know, find ways to make it work, that there's definite ways of making everyone happy and trying to sift through the negatives and really focus on the positives. So some of my resources were some articles that I read from med.unr.edu. The article is "When is it too much? When is teen and social media? When is it too much?" And that was January 23rd, 2019. My other article was "Social Media and Teens: How does social media affect teenagers' mental health?" And that was retrieved from psycom.net. And my other article was "The Pros and Cons of Children on Social Media," retrieved teachthought.com. Thank you very much.